I originally married my wife because she got pregnant. 15 years later, I discovered I am not my daughter's biological father. She was preparing for a family tree project for an online class and wanted to do an ancestry test. My father, who is half Native American, passed away several years ago, and I don't know precisely what Native American heritage is in the family. My daughter came to me because it was my father, and we didn't mention it to her mother at the time. Well, it turned out that my daughter doesn't have any Native American DNA. The obvious conclusion didn't occur to me at first because the truth of the situation didn't seem possible. I assumed there was a mistake, and my first thought was that my father hadn't been part Native American. So, I took the test, and everything became apparent. It was a very emotional situation for both me and my daughter. What I will remember the most is that after she started crying, she hugged me tightly and just kept saying over and over, "I love you, Dad." At home, I confronted my wife, and she looked like she'd had a stroke. She started crying and apologizing. You can probably imagine it. The guilt of what she had done. The reason why we were even married. We had been together for more than a year when it happened. It turns out she was sleeping with multiple guys at the time. She says it didn't mean anything, and she doesn't even remember some of their names. When she realized she was pregnant, she said she wasn't sure who the father was. Since I was unaware of her extracurricular activities, she let me believe I was the father because I was the most financially stable. In terms of that, she may have chosen correctly. I have been very successful in my career, and building passive income streams has been a hobby of mine for a long time. My daughter got my wife to admit to this on tape as she recorded the entire thing. I asked my wife several times, and she keeps insisting that she has been faithful for the entire time we have been married. I've never suspected anything, but I also didn't realize she was sleeping around before we got married, so I've said I don't believe her. I've come across a lot of the red flags of cheaters, and I can't think of any of them during our marriage. She doesn't use social media, and she has never been guarded about her phone. She only drinks on special occasions, and doesn't go out for girls' night or anything. Also, she is a stay-at-home mom, so there aren't any coworkers to worry about. She exercises at home as we have a very nice home gym. I don't believe her when she says she hasn't cheated after getting married, but I can't think of anything suspicious. We have a prenup, so I'm not worried about divorce if it comes to that. My daughter is another story. She is absolutely livid about the entire situation. I know teenagers can be emotional. I certainly remember how I was at her age, but she has never been very expressive, something I thought she inherited from me. My daughter can't stand to be around her mother. She has said some truly awful things to her, basically variations of calling her a dirty B-word who ruined our family. Whenever my wife tries to talk to her, my daughter yells, swears, and cries like I have never seen. Christmas is coming up, and my daughter is demanding my wife leave the house until after New Year so she can spend time with her real family, meaning me. My daughter has even come to me privately, saying that in the event of divorce, she wants to stay with me. She has even asked if it is possible to disown her mother and be adopted by me. I have made it clear, in no uncertain terms, that she is my daughter, and I am her father, regardless of the situation. I've reiterated to her repeatedly that she can stay with me, and I will never leave her. My wife is preparing to leave for her parents' house for the holidays. We have talked about the situation, but have decided to wait until after New Year's to make any decisions. I admit I'm grateful she agreed to leave because honestly, I need some time to process this. I think I'm writing this as a way to come to terms with everything that has happened. Update 1. After my wife left, my daughter calmed down considerably, but is still obviously shaken. We managed to talk it out, and she explained why she got so upset. Apparently, she knows kids at school whose parents are divorced because of infidelity. In most of the cases, especially when the mother was the one cheating, the father tended to distance himself from the family. My daughter knows of one child whose father moved across the country after the divorce. The father only sees his children once or twice a year now. All of this was going through my daughter's head when she realized what her mother had done. My wife wants to talk with me and my daughter very much, basically just to give her a chance to explain. My birthday is a few days before Christmas, and my daughter has agreed to a video chat with her mother. I assured my daughter that if all she wants to do is listen, then that's fine. She doesn't have to say anything. That's what's happened since, and I guess I'll just have to wait and see what happens next. Update 2. My daughter and I have been spending a lot of time together, playing games, watching movies, and doing stuff like that. Even when I'm working on my computer or anything else around the house, she just wants to be in the same room as me, even if she is just playing on her iPad. After the initial shock of everything that happened, I started to calm down and really think about things. I have always taken time to evaluate a situation and make choices based on evidence, so I hired professional help. I had a private investigator keep an eye on my wife. She has location service on her phone and GPS on her car, but the PI confirmed that she only left her parents' house once to go to the supermarket. Her parents had called me after a couple of days, wanting to know if my wife was okay. My father-in-law said my wife only left her room for meals and hadn't left the house since. The supermarket visit was a day or two later. The second guy I hired was tech savvy. He is a friend of a friend and helped me go through my wife's computer, phone, and accounts. I was both impressed and unnerved by what this guy was capable of doing. We did a deep search that went back years. I don't want to go into all the details of my investigation, but I found zero evidence of any type of affair. All of this made me think a lot. I reread my original post and realized that what I wrote about getting married because of the pregnancy might have meant more than I thought. Maybe we didn't get married for love, but I certainly think we have grown to love each other, and I still think we are in love. I realized that she lied, but something really great came from that, and one person left a comment that I hadn't considered. The comment talked about how all of my wife's efforts to stay home and be a good wife and mother may have all been intentional signs of her remorse and guilt for everything she had done. My wife has been discreetly contacting me since she left the house, and we have chatted a little, but it's not about important stuff. After thinking about everything I didn't find, I agreed to talk with her after my daughter went to sleep. She didn't look so great, she had obviously been crying and probably not sleeping well. It was a long conversation, but she just apologized again for lying. She said she had always hoped I was the father. She admitted that she was young, dumb, reckless, and irresponsible, but getting pregnant made her reevaluate everything. She said she regrets blurting out that she chose me because I was the most financially stable, although she admits that was part of it. She had a long list of reasons why she chose me. I'm not going to summarize everything, but I believe she is sincere when she says all she wants is to do whatever it takes for us to be able to be a family again. We agreed it may never be exactly as it was before, but I said I'm not ready to throw away the best 15 years of my life. Yes, that's exactly what they have been. I have to admit that I could not have asked for a better wife or mother for my child. The sense of relief seemed to overwhelm her, and she broke down crying again. Today is my birthday, and as planned, the three of us had our talk online. My daughter was very quiet for most of it. I talked a little about what we had been doing while my wife was at her parents', nothing too exciting. Then, my wife said to my daughter that she just wants to explain herself. I've always believed that there is a difference between an explanation and an excuse. She did not try to justify herself or put the blame on anything or anyone else. Basically, she told our daughter the same thing she told me. Once again, it was a long conversation that I can't summarize in a few sentences, but it was good. My daughter listened very attentively, and the only thing she asked was if my wife knew who her real dad was. I was unexpectedly moved by my wife's answer, "Your real dad is sitting next to you." That made my daughter cry openly. She apologized for the things she said to her mother in the beginning. I admit that my wife may have just been stroking my ego and saying what she knew I wanted to hear. Based on the fact that I could find no evidence of my wife being unfaithful and just the conversations, I think we can move past this. My daughter's going to start counseling after the new year, and eventually, we will have family therapy as well. We talked about having Christmas together in a few days as a family. This entire thing has been a real roller coaster, but I'm optimistic at the moment. I was having a drink by myself to toast my birthday after my daughter went to bed. I think it'll be possible for the three of us to be a family again. I certainly want to be. I really liked hearing the things my wife said. Of course, I can guess why she said a lot of them, but I'm thinking a lot about what my daughter said about her real father. That hurt more the more I thought about it. I don't think she intended to hurt me, and I'm not sure she even realizes how it sounded, but it wasn't fun. We're still spending a lot of time together, and it's been great. I'm not going to ask her about finding her biological father, and if she brings it up, then I'll just cross that bridge when it's time. We went to my wife's parents for Christmas Eve. My brother and mother met us there, and it was a fun time. Before coming over, my wife and daughter agreed that we would be polite and cordial, but maybe keep a discreet distance. The day was as you would expect it to be, spending time with the family. That evening, my wife came home with us. When we got home, the two of them spent time talking alone, and when they were done, my daughter went to her room for the rest of the night. Then my wife and I talked. She reiterated a lot of the things she had already said. I think I mentioned this already, but there was one commenter who said that all her choices to stay home might have been intentional. My wife did not say these exact words, but that was the basic message. After getting pregnant, she realized that she had to grow up, and she said she worked as hard as possible and did everything she could think of to be the perfect wife and mother. By this point, we were actually in our bedroom. She got down on her knees and said she will redouble her efforts to be even better. She said she knew I was considering divorce, but all she said was, "Please give me a chance to prove myself." She said if there was anything I needed from her, anything she could do, then she would do it without hesitation. All she wanted was to keep our family together. It's difficult to fully describe the emotion of everything that has happened, but I believe in her sincerity. We spent a very passionate night together. Christmas was a good time. I'm not going to say it was perfect, we were aware of the elephant in the room, but it was still a good day. It was the first time just the three of us were alone since the truth was uncovered, but we did have a good day. We had our traditional Christmas breakfast, and then we watched a movie before we opened presents. One of the gifts to our daughter was a video game console, and she asked if we could organize a family game night, and this made my wife cry. She left the room and came back composed, but I think she just wasn't expecting something like that. I think I already mentioned that we're going to do some therapy after New Year's, and I don't think there's anything else to add at this point. I'm not going to say everything will work out for anyone dealing with similar situations, but I think my family and I will be able to move on.